Aloha and welcome to Spirit Chat Radio. Today I'm going to be doing a podcast on the full moon because I've had a lot of questions about what's happening energetically, and I haven't been podcasting as much lately, which I intend to change. I have to just rearrange my schedule and adjust some things so that I can be doing some more podcasts because there was a few that I had planned coming up, but this superseded that one because I feel like it's kind of important because everybody's going through a lot of different stuff that relates to what's been going on energetically. So I think that this is going to be a helpful podcast for some people. Now, I know that I've geared it towards, or I'm talking about some things that are going to be happening with this month's full moon. However, there's been a lot of energetic stuff going on, really leading up to this energy wave and this kind of chaos that's going around for probably the last couple months. So you're going to notice that a lot of the things that I'm talking about doesn't just pertain to, like super recent, but it pertains to probably some things you've been experiencing for the last few weeks, last few months. And that's kind of how things work astrologically when, we're dealing with all these energy waves and energy shifts and everything like that. So before I get into that, I did, for some of you who've been waiting, just so you know, I did finally schedule my spirit communication class, but I don't think if you're listening to this where there's a spirit communication link, it wouldn't be on there. You would have to, if you want the information, if you're not on my newsletter, you'll want to email Lydia at keys-to-the-spirit-world.com. So that'd be LYDIA at keys-to-the-spirit-world.com. She can give you the info because I'm only going to be opening this class, I believe, twice a year. We'll see how this goes and see if I'll be opening it more. But because I'm doing this one more like a Zoom class, or more face to face, like an actual classroom, like a virtual classroom, because I'm doing that, I'm going to be doing it like a couple times a year. So that is something that if you're interested in, if you're not on my email list, first of all, why aren't you on my email list? But anyways, you can get on my email list at keys-to-the-spirit-world.com, which brings me to something else before I get into this. I just like to keep you guys updated on what I'm doing, especially those of you who listen to me often. I think that I'm going to be redoing that website, so it's no longer, eventually, so far it still is, but moving Keys to the Spirit World to a different website, to a Jennifer O'Neill website. The reason for that is, of course, I share my name with the famous Jennifer O'Neill, and she has the regular JenniferO'Neill.com. But anyways, I've had a little bit issues with the domain name. That being said, I'm thinking of building a simpler site where it's easier to get on my email list, and I give like something away for you guys to get on it, like energy vampires or something, just because I feel like that's truthfully, a really good book. And especially for those of you who are empaths, and I'm not entirely sure, if you have it or not, but there's some good tips in there, because when you're an empath, which is some of the podcasting I wanted to do, I feel really drawn towards teaching a lot more about empathic stuff, or people who are sensitive or empathic. There's a lot of, you don't realize how many things affect you from just being purely sensitive to energy. I think that, or in my experience, most empaths are feeling like that they're feeling certain ways because of situations, their environment, moodiness, that like they're just, I think that they take it too lightly, I guess I would say. I feel like they're thinking it's more to their physical environment or just different things that are going on, and they don't learn how to separate the energetic environment, or how much their energetic environment will affect their physical environment. And so there's a lot of things as an empath that you should be aware of. And that's why I wrote the Energy Vampires book, which I want to just start giving to you guys, um, for anybody who's interested in that, anyways. But I'll let you know when that's available. You can get it on Amazon if you don't want to wait. But, anyways, I just feel like it's really important to get more people aware of what negativity does and that sort of thing, especially if you're sensitive, because how it affects your physical health and your mental health, and just how you're feeling, or your emotional health, or whatever. It it plays such a big role, and empaths really underplay it in their life. Um, and if they don't underplay it, people in their life will underplay it. Like family, friends, whatever. They'll be like, "Oh, you're fine," or why do you have to be this way?" Or, that shouldn't bother you, doesn't bother me. Well, it doesn't always work that way. So the other thing with the empaths is, which I want to get into in some other podcasts that I'm going to be doing, is empowered empaths. Because this is really, I know I'm rambling about empaths, but I kind of want to get this out there before I get into the moon stuff, because the moon stuff will pertain to both. But first of all, I noticed they don't pay much attention to their environment or how much energy affects them. They seem to be very unaware of that. And then second of all, they just tend to kind of force themselves into situations that they feel like that they should be in. And so that makes them start to feel like not very good or whatever. And by situations, I mean like just being around an environment, or like Walmart, or I don't know, just different negativity work environments or whatever. Not that you should never go to those places, but that leads me to the empowered empath, which there's some really good things that you can do. You can live as an empath and be a very empowered empath. It doesn't have to affect your life in a negative way. It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm an empath. Oh, now what? That's like, oh my gosh, I have some, you know, disease or something. It's not like that. It can feel like you are kind of, I don't want to say cursed because that's a horrible word, but it can feel like you're burdened with a gift that you don't know how to manage, if you don't know how to manage it. And I find that more people who are empaths don't know how to manage it than do. So I'd like to get into some other podcasting about becoming an empowered empath, not kind of becoming a victim to your gift, if that makes any sense. I see a lot of people become a victim to their gift of being sensitive. And it is one of my pet peeves, because I feel like you don't need to be that way. But if you don't know how not to be that way, then it's easy to be that way. Yeah, there you go. So, anyways, let's talk about this energy wave, shall we? It's been a rough one. This last couple months has been really, really, really rough on people. Um, I'm noticing, here's some things that I'm noticing, and then I'm going to kind of break down what is supposed to be happening, or what you can be anticipating with the new moon. But just as a general overall vibe, I've been seeing a lot of people who've never had depression before, or have never struggled with being sad or that sort of thing. I've seen a lot of people being really down, really, really feeling sad, or really feeling down. And what's good to know about that in correlation to what I'm talking about is it's sort of, well, I guess this is good and bad, right? It's sort of blanketed across the board, where everybody, or not everybody, but a lot of people are feeling it, which doesn't make you feel any better, because you're just like feeling like this is horrible and I don't like feeling this way. But the good news is, it's for a lot of people who are experiencing it lately in the last couple months, it's not necessarily something that's going to stay that way, or it's not necessarily something that you can't work on. It's something that is heavily energetic, or a lot of people are experiencing this heavy energy, and it's causing them to feel really down and upset and really sad. And so it feels like that's going to be lifting around July, which is not awesome, I guess, but kind of is, because I guess we could say like 2025 or something. But that is going to be lifting. But if you're sensitive, or you're really sensitive to your gifts, is what I mean. If you're sensitive to energies, that's something that you're probably going to be noticing is going to be randomly coming and going in a heavy pattern, um, which is also kind of bringing to the surface a lot of people feeling unsatisfied and frustrated. So we're gonna get into that a little bit too, with the full moon stuff. But the other thing, well, actually, I was just looking at my notes here, and a lot of this is gonna go right into the full moon stuff. I'm gonna talk about it now, and then I'll go into more of a breakdown. So with the depression and sadness, there's unsatisfied feelings, and people just feeling like they want to change and that sort of thing. And then shifts in perspective are happening, or they're necessary. And relationships have been really, really super rough. And I mean super rough. So there's a lot of turmoil and a lot of chaos that is basically circling relationship energy in a very aggressive way. And so you may notice that you're having a lot of ups and downs relationship wise, whether it be with family or your spouse, significant other, partner, kids, whatever. That is really a needle with this wave that's been happening the last couple months. And it actually pertains to, there's some stuff that goes on that's pertaining to this full moon energy as well. And dreams, I'll tell you, some of this stuff that's been happening the last couple months has actually, I'm not usually surprised very much, but I'm like, wow, this is kind of nuts, and I'm kind of over it. So can we just move on from this? And I'm not enjoying this very well. So yeah, usually I can do clearings and do, just some refocusing, reshifting, some visualization, stuff like that. And I can get my energy sort of straight. Dreams are going to, I've noticed, have been super intense lately. A lot of them with a lot of fears, worries, anything you're afraid or worried about is really surfacey in your dreams. And so you wouldn't necessarily dream about something that, like, let's say you're worried about money or something, or you're afraid of losing money or something, then you might dream about being attacked by a wolf or something, whatever. I'm just saying they may be symbolic, but if you're finding that you're having the emotions of your dream is what you're wanting to pay attention to the most. Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling scared? Are you waking up and your heart's just racing? Are you feeling nervous? Are you feeling just, a lot of anxiety, whatever? Those things are something that are becoming intensified right now. And it's basically your energy pattern that you're reading when you're sleeping. And so it's good to know kind of what's happening around you energetically. And since most people who are sensitive are experiencing a lot of chaotic type energy that it's really heavy, and has the sadness and all that kind of stuff with it, the dreams are sort of dictating what energy is kind of around you. So that's not been fun. And I myself have even, like I said, I've done clearings and visualization and stuff. And I've had more of them than I normally do in longer bursts of time. So it's a constant working on for me working on just straightening my energy just all the time. Like months. The months have gone by, 2 months easy have gone by where I'm just constantly working on clearing energy to my house, clearing energy in my space, clearing energy of my body, paying really a lot of attention to who I'm around, all of those things. And I'm just going to keep doing it. Like I will not stop. It's not like I'm going to do it and then I quit. I'm going to keep it up until things are shifting back into a lighter phase. However, the positive side of this, and on the flip side, basically, I've never seen so much manifestation energy have the intensity it has right now ever. Like, it's craziness. If you work with manifestation energy, or if you don't, you're just really going to want to pay attention to your thoughts. You really want to thought check yourself, because everything is happening at lightning speed with this manifestation stuff. So where we have such an intensity on the heavy side, we're also having an intensity on the positive manifestation side. So again, I know I've talked about this before. I'm trying to think of some recent examples of some stuff that's happened. But it's happening so much to me on a daily basis. Like everything from, oh Jesus, I need to change I want to change channel, but I need to finish working on this thing on my computer, and I'll get up in 5 minutes and grab it. But this is really annoying me, so I wished it was not on. But anybody who knows me knows that I'll just keep working until I'll work the 5 minutes till I'm done. And then within 15 seconds, somebody will walk by and turn the channel. I mean, everything. It's happening at lightning speed. Oh, I forgot to grab this at the store. Shoot, I wished I would have done that. 5 minutes later, somebody will walk in the door and said, I picked up whatever. I've never had the manifestation energy working in overdrive like it is right now. Now, those of you who work with the manifestation energy or are very aware of your thoughts and how they sort of happen and unfold on a daily basis because you're aware of it, because this is important, you also are aware, or should be aware if you're not, that it works as in a negative thought chain too. So I especially will pay super close attention to every single thing that I'm kind of thinking that would pertain to something uncomfortable in my life. Let's say money or business or, stuff like that, or relationships or whatever. I will especially pay close attention to what my thought vibe is on those subjects, especially when I'm going through or when I'm noticing that the manifestation energy is so intense. And then when you're experiencing, on the flip side, the negative pull factor. So it's almost like this energy wave is super bipolar. It's like crazy. You've got the positive and you got the negative, and it's teeter-tottering back and forth in an intense way that just flings you to one side and then flings you to the other side. And it's like not awesome. So it's kind of like you get energetically, what do you call it? Like not seasick, but when you go on the rides and don't feel good. It's kind of like that. So that's been fun, but not really. The other thing that I want to talk about this before I get into the actual moon stuff is there's a lot of negative spirits that I've seen with this. They are around a lot, and when they're around a lot, they tend to put negative loops in your thought process. They tend to, people don't realize, this is something I'm going to get into my spirit communication class, but you have really perfected, everybody, spirit telepathy. There's a lot of spirit telepathy that goes on in your day-to-day life. You may not have thought about it. You may not even believe me and just be like, this is ridiculous, and shut me off. Doesn't matter. It just happens. It's just like, as much as you breathe and walk and enjoy nature and you look at things, you're having spirit telepathy happening. So with this, because of the negative undertone of the vibe, there's a lot of negative chatter that tends to go down. So because of the manifestation, you're going to watch the negative chatter. You're going to want to check yourself, check your thoughts, make sure that you are just fighting them, and you are, I would say, goal setting, which I'm going to get into in a minute, and you are trusting that whatever negative thought pattern, whatever that you're gathering or feeling right now, you need to trust that you're in a fog right now, and that the fog's going to move past, and that there's going to be some clarity when it moves past, when this energy wave goes through, and that it's not going to be the way that you're potentially feeling and worried about, because the fear and worry is brought by some things that are not tied to anything. And basically, that's a pretty good rule of thumb, anyways, because most fear and worry is tied to a thought process of something that could possibly happen. So that's a tough one, though. That's something that most people wrestle with, and I've even wrestled with, but I've gotten a lot better at that. I'm really pretty good at it. But I'm human, and it happens to me as well. You start wrestling with the fear of, oh, but well, that makes it seem like this is going to happen. But that's not always the case, and that's not always an indication that that is actually going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But you start going there, and then you kind of obsess about it and think about it, and it's a whole thing. So you'll definitely want to be checking yourself. And then the last thing that I want to talk about on this part before I get into some of the real current changes is, I noticed with this wave, people are getting so exhausted from dealing with the negative thought patterns, relationship turmoil, just feeling upset or sad and not being able to get over it, that they're just like, I give up. Like, I'm done. I give up. I just, whatever, I don't even care. Once you get to that point, you let go energetically of all the crap that you're holding on to, and it moves out fairly quickly, and then the manifestation just 10 times itself. That probably isn't a word. I probably just made that up. But anyways, so once you get to kind of complete energetic exhaustion of just all the weird crap that you're holding on to, because in this wave, unless you're walking through the fog, pretend the wave's a fog, right? Unless you're walking through the fog, people are trying to gather it and bring the fog with them, because they don't consciously do it, but it's what that they can feel, and they're trying to grasp onto these weird emotions and go, where's this belong? I need to compartmentalize this. It needs to go somewhere, because it must come somewhere, because I'm feeling this way. And if I can figure out where it's coming from, then I can fix it. And then they rack their brain trying to figure out where it's coming from, and then they can't really figure out where it's coming from, so there's no fixing it, but they really hold on to it because they need to figure it out, because they need to not feel this way anymore, if that makes sense. So let it go, let it pass as best you can. Just be like, I'm okay, whatever. Just allow things to go through, and I'm tired of fighting it, and just let the energy go. And then do some goal setting. So let's get into some major stuff with this full moon, which actually all that ties to the full moon, but my point being, it's actually been going on longer than just this full moon. So with this full moon is supposed to bring some unexpected need for change. And so some of you might be feeling like, I don't know how I need to shift my life, but I need to shift my life. Or I don't know how I need to shift my job, but it's got to somewhere there needs to be some type of change, because this pattern is not working for me. Could be in any aspect of your life, could be in a small aspect, could be in a large aspect. I don't know. But with this is going to bring some feelings of unexpected change. And it's actually going to bring about some change for you. So if you're fighting the energy, the change it's going to probably cause you to feel nervous or anxious and that sort of thing. If you kind of just go, well, you know what? This change is happening in my life right now, and I sort of just don't know what to do with it. So I just need to see where this takes me. That is really going to bring about a lot of positivity for those people. So it's going to depend on how you react. If you're craving unexpected change or you're experiencing a change, which a lot of people are going to be experiencing some type of shift or change or something unexpected potentially. Um, if you fight it and just go, oh my gosh, this is not good and what's going to happen and everything else, you're going to have a harder time, a lot more anxious and nervousness. If you just go, I just need to see where this goes. I mean, really, could it be worse? I don't know. If you just see where the wave, where it rides you out, you're going to have some really cool stuff happening. So be open to any unexpected shifts happening, and be open to see where that ride takes you, because there's going to be some cool stuff. People are going to find that they're really wanting to break free and have some freedom when it comes to their routines. I see this happen with jobs a lot, but to me, jobs also a routine for people. So a lot of people are going to have this urge for freedom and breaking free. And this is a really good time when you're having this urge to kind of release and restructure. And that's going to really work well with manifestation energy. Not that, like, if you're wanting to break free from your job or break free from stuff like that, this is where goal setting is going to be really important. Because with this full moon energy, it's actually supposed to be a very good time to be adjusting, making adjustment, and fine-tuning goals. And so if you're feeling the urge to break free or find more freedom, now's a super good time to restructure your life or your pattern. The timing is really good for that. So kind of do some goal setting and brainstorm some ideas on how would you restructure? How would you rather see things happen for you? What would you like it to feel like? What feels better to you? What change feels better to you? With this, and with the other one where unexpected change might be happening, and then you're feeling the urge to break free, this is going to cause many people to either shift their perspective or be forced to shift their perspective. So because of the low vibration of this wave that we've been experiencing, a lot of people might automatically go into the, oh my gosh, this is happening and what am I going to do, type of thing. But really pay attention to your perspective. Remember this, especially as we've been talking about the manifestation and the thought stuff and all that kind of stuff. Now is the time that you're wanting to really pay attention to your perspective. If you feel like you need an attitude adjustment, now's the time to do it. We call it that around our houses. We actually check ourselves. So that's a thing here. We just, if I think my son-in-law started that, which is awesome. If you're having so many bad days, or if you're, things feel like they keep just not going the right way, you'll hear him or other people in the family just be like, I need an attitude adjustment. And then that's our way of going, you know what? I need to shift my perspective. I need to shift my perspective because I know that's where it's starting from. And once I shift my perspective, then that flow will then project outward in a different manner, right? So if you're not already experiencing, you might have already experienced it, like all of a sudden, like, whoa, I'm seeing things differently. That should have probably been happening within the last week or so, where you're like, wait a minute, I was feeling this way. I was feeling upset or aggravated, or I was feeling a certain way about a certain job, but now I'm feeling entirely different. And normally the shift in perspective with this particular situation that we're experiencing right now is that shift in perspective is coming with release. So it's coming with letting go of something that you were hoping was going to happen. Letting go of something that is no longer bringing you any positive aspects to your life. So kind of letting go of just some type of emotion, and you may not probably realize that you're actually doing it at the time. Some people need to do it, like the conscious, like, I need an attitude adjustment. But you may have just had a shift in perspective all on your own with it, and kind of like a, huh, I all of a sudden see this differently. Really weird. That has happened to me lately, and I know it's happened to a lot of people that I know lately. Literally just out of the blue going, I feel better about this because I've kind of just let this stuff go. Though that's cool. So perspective shift. Then the other thing is, before I get into this, I don't know where this actually fits in. I usually kind of have a flow to this. But anybody who experiences anxiety, just so that you know, I'm just going to kind of throw this in as a FYI. Anxiety's off the charts right now, like literally off the charts. Like it's crazy time right now, anxiety. So that might be something that you're dealing with if you're sensitive or are prone to anxiety. It's like if your anxiety, from a scale of 1 to 10, you're probably rolling around an 8, 9, and 10. Actually, I've had anxiety before in my life. I'm sure I've talked about that. I actually have been waking up with my heart racing, like what, I don't even know why, but it's already like going. And that's always when I know it's energetic, because normally when I've had anxiety in the past or whatever, and like I said, most sensitives do, I have it when I'm really sensitive around energies. Until I learned how to control that better. That was a whole nother process. But anyways, when I learned how to control it better, it got better. But for normal anxiety types ridden situations, there's a thought that goes behind it, and you're like, okay, this is why I'm feeling anxious, because my brain's telling me this, my mind, and it's maybe not true, but you're still like on that little loop. But if you wake up with it and you haven't had a dream about it, nothing, and that's when my body will literally react to the energy around me before I'm even awake. Like, it's so weird. I can tell the energy by the way that I feel. I can tell the energy wave by the way that I feel when I wake up. It's really strange. Kind of like a energetic barometer. It's very strange. And just for those of you who think that'd be cool, it's not always awesome. Anyways, the last thing that is related to this full moon heavily is upset and turmoil in relationships, and a lot of tension. That still is a thing right now. I don't see that lifting for a little bit. I don't see it lifting right after this full moon. But the reason I want to point that out is because mountain out of a molehill, that's no joke right now. You literally can make a mountain out of a molehill with relationships. But it's probably important to stay away from major relationship decisions, at least right around the full moon time. So if you're kind of contemplating, whether you don't want to talk to somebody anymore or whatever, relationship stuff, kind of at least let this full moon pass before you sort of get into making any important decisions. And then the other thing that actually is coming along with this full moon is some of you in the relationship department or love department, you might be feeling more needy than usual. Like just feeling more needy. That's just pretty much it. Or moody when it comes to dealing with your relationships. So since you're already dealing with potential upset and turmoil where it comes to relationships, check yourself when you start snapping at people or just feeling like needy or whatever, because all that will do is put tension on your relationship. It's not going to bring any calming vibration to you that's making you feel more secure or whatever, So just check yourself, and then I don't know if you ever do this, but if you think I shouldn't say that, don't say it then, okay? Because now's the time not to say things if you're thinking I probably shouldn't say that, okay? When it comes to relationships. So that being said, hopefully this was helpful, And I know I need to get into the more being more frequent on podcasting. But you know what? That is supposed to be one of my goal setting things right now. So I'm going to try to get into doing that better. And I want to get into some empath stuff and all that good jazz. So hopefully, again, you found this helpful. If you're not on my newsletter, go to keys2spiritworld.com. You can find a bunch of my stuff there, but there's a psychic ability quiz and all that. But there's a way to get on my newsletter over there. If you're not in my spirit community, that's free, my Keys to the Spirit World community. So you can go to Keys to the Spirit World, click on the top, and join. Oh, the other thing I wanted to do, because I keep getting asked about this as well, I want to start talking to you about different stones, like maybe pick a stone that day, stone of the day, whatever. Because people keep asking me about different stones. Whether I get to that or not, I don't know. But if you're interested in any of that jazz, you know where to find my metaphysical store, I believe, which is spiritualgurubox.com. You can get tons of really awesome bracelets and pendants and necklaces and all kinds of cool stuff over there, rocks and everything. So if you don't know where to go for that and you're looking for something to sort of, we all wear mala beads, different bracelets, and boy, we can tell the difference if we're not wearing them. So my whole family is armed with them at all times. Anyways, have the most amazing day. All right, until next time, aloha.